Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Barcast TV and to Barcast Daily. It is May 2nd, 2023. We've got another great game for y'all, so let's go ahead and get into the replay. I'll introduce our players. Spawning in the bottom left side of the map, playing as the red pieces. We have a new player to the channel, it's Mitvit. Absolute Finnish phenom for sure. Really looking forward to casting this game, and his opponent spawning in the top right side of the map. Playing as the blue pieces, it's Randy. So really great players here today. Really looking forward to this match. Got a new map for the channel. This is oh goodness, I forgot. Red Comet remake. So I think I like to refer to this as Baby Comet Catcher. Still's got a lot of the same feel. We have these like craters, a lot of distributed mass deposits all across the map. So no shortage of mass deposits for our players to incorporate into their economy and start producing lots of units. So yeah, let's take a look at these opening build orders. I believe these players actually set it on duel here, so you don't really get a pick of where you spawn. And on this map, it can be a little awkward. You end up like spawning kind of below this mechs over here, and you have to do like a little bit of a walk to kind of cap these 3 mexes if you want to do a 3 mechs open. So that's what Mitvit's done. So already has a radar up before vehicle plant. That's kind of interesting here. And has gone for 3 solar collectors, 3 metal extractors into vehicle plant. So pretty standard open, save for that very early radar. Looks like Randy's gone for a little bit of a different opening here. He's gone ahead and capped these 2 mexes, added a solar collector, and then this LLT over here. So we see a lot of players really kind of utilizing this on maps where you kind of want to walk a little bit to get to your 3rd mex before your first factory. Just go ahead and add an LLT, play it safe, really helps defend against some early run buys and what have you. So Randy as well, 3 solar collectors, 3 mexes into vehicle plant. So both players really kind of respecting each other. It looks like Mitvit is using the radar in lieu of the LLT and playing really defensive with this rover here. So I'm not really sure what I think about that, honestly. We'll have to see how it plays out for him. I mean, obviously he's going to be able to see these encroaching radar signatures here and perhaps stop this run by. Looks like Randy might end up getting this southern mex here, so nice little pick off. These go down so fast to these early game scouts, these mexes. I really like that change from previous iterations in these games. Making these mexes really vulnerable kind of helps you. Wow, that was so close. Making these mexes so vulnerable allows you to harass your opponent's economy easier than previous iterations of this game, like Subcomp, for instance. So it's one of my biggest misgivings about that game was how difficult it can be to interrupt your opponent's economy. So see a little bit of a different open here. I've been really trying to study this map here and trying to figure out how to actually play it on these duels. And it looks like instead of walking to these 2 really close mexes with his commander, Mitvit has decided to use a construction vehicle to cap these 2 really close mexes to your main base, and he's going to be adding on an LLT first. So really interesting to see. Looks like Mitvit's moved across the other side of the map and ended up getting a mex there, so really great job deflecting Randy's early harassment and getting some counter damage of his own. So good show here, making a game of it. And looks like, yeah, we see Randy a little bit of a difference here. He's gone ahead and expanded to this southern 2 mex deposits with his commander. Is added on 2 solar collectors and a radar here along with an LLT, so I'm sure he'll be moving towards the center of the map shortly enough with his commander. And it looks like Mitvit's playing really aggressively here. He still has 3 rovers, 1 just went down, 2 blitzes, and he's going to end up getting a solar collector, perhaps another one for his troubles. Yeah, so 2 solar collectors, 1 metal extractor for a couple blitzes and rovers is not bad damage at all. This really takes away from the build power in the main base. I mean, he's going to have to take these construction vehicles off from assisting this factory here to kind of rebuild this infrastructure. So great damage, great counter damage here. And we can take a look at this overall map and see how this is shaping up. Randy still sitting on this little southern mex. He's continuing to add on solar collectors to replace the ones he's lost. He's going to have to reposition that one metal extractor in his main base. And Mitvit is staying inside of his main as well. He's adding on solar collectors, stalling just a little bit on mass so far. and it's expanding towards the middle of the map with 2 of these construction vehicles. See, we have a 3rd one in tow here, so looks like he's just going to be assisting this other one with these 2 construction vehicles here. So really nice open so far, and we see he's kind of continuing with the aggression here. We have 5 blitzes, 1 rover, moving past Randy's units here, so he could end up getting some more damage done if he wants to kind of dive in with these units. I'm not sure if he's going to want to completely donate all these units and kind of limit the amount of his standing army. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up retreating. Yeah, especially with Randy so quick with the response here, kind of getting in front of these units, preventing them from running by. And we see that these the incisors of Cortex, what is that, 230 range versus the Blitz's 180. So I didn't quite notice that. So like their bot counterpart, the Cortex light tank outranges the Armada light tank. So pretty interesting factor. You can take a look at some of these other statistics on these units. Looks like they have about, how much health is that? I'm so not used to looking at this card here. 824 compared to the Cortex, or sorry, Armada's 700. Is that a damaged one though? I think that was damaged. Let's look at a full health one. 690? That doesn't seem right. That must be damaged as well. 707. Okay, so that's interesting. It's heavier and outranges the Armada tank. I wonder what the difference in the mass cost is. We can take a look. Incisors are about 118 mass compared to their Armada counterpart would be about 109. So yeah, like a 10 mass difference, but I mean really, I would pay 10 more mass for increased range over my opponent's tanks. You really have to micro properly to kind of squeeze out as much value from these tanks as possible. And this is shaping up to be a great game here. We see Mitvit is just staying inside the main base with his commander, whereas Randy is moving towards the middle. He's already capping these kind of central 3 mexes. You can see how that's mirrored over this little x-axis, suppose. And already adding on some LLTs in the center of the map, so really trying to lock down his portion of the map here. And I'm assuming this is going to end up going to split map here. We see Randy finally moving towards the bottom right side of the map with 1 construction vehicle. He's going to be going through capping mexes. I'm sure he'll add on some LLTs as he moves farther down onto the map, but perhaps Mitvit can get some counter damage here. I see 2 rovers making their way to the bottom right side. Could end up catching these mechs and might not get that construction vehicle. They're really tanky against these early scout vehicles. So looks like Randy's decided to move into 2 factory production. He's adding his bot lab here in the middle of the map underneath the cover of these 2 LLTs, so I'm sure he'll be adding some thugs. Yep, can see those queued up already. Really good tanky unit for this kind of approaching the mid game here. Have a lot of decent range, a lot of staying power, and are pretty decent against these LLTs we see from Mitvit coming up. So got a little bit of a tank versus tank engagement here. Wonder if Randy's trying to get this construction vehicle. He's backing away from it before getting it, and that was a nice little cheeky reclaim command before moving backwards. It might end up costing him this construction vehicle, yeah. So that ends up going down. Sure, he could have saved that, or Mitvit could have saved that if he was a little more diligent on that move command, retreating that construction vehicle from the dangers of the front line. See Randy just kind of hovering here in the middle of the map. He's just assisting this forward factory he's constructed, continuing to add on thugs. And I really like this channel Mitvit has kind of moving towards the middle of the map. It's got a lot of LLTs kind of protecting this unit path here. It's going to allow him to get to the middle of the map, you know, undefended. And look at these great radar placements from Randy. He's got so much information, so much intel on the map about what's going on by his opponent. He can spot these run-by lanes in the south. You can see incoming units from the north. So really, really good moves here. Take a look at his main base while we're on his player view. Still has 4 construction vehicles assisting this vehicle plant. 1 construction vehicle adding on solar collectors, just increasing his economy slowly over time. Whereas his opponent, Mitvit's main base, has 1 construction turret up, or 2 rather, assisting this factory here. And his commander is still in the main base, adding on solar collectors. You got a bit of an engagement here in the center. Light tanks versus light tanks. Looks like Mitvit is already starting to incorporate these medium tanks into his army, which have a lot more range over these incisors. So 350 range. Opting to stay on this one factory production and getting these higher mass units out on the field before adding another factory here. So I like it. These stouts are so good. They have so much health, and it can be difficult for these T1 units to have enough DPS to take these out en masse. So if you can get a run by with these units, it can do a lot of damage. Looks like the game's kind of slowing down for now. We have a little bit of a reclaim field sitting out here in front of Mitvit's base, and Randy could be sensing I needed to deny this reclaim field from my opponent, so he's stepping forward with his thugs, just taking a couple pot shots at the enemy light tanks. They definitely outrange each other, and that's going to cue Mitvit to step forward, and we see some Janus shots going off, so great damage so far with these Janus. They do so much splash damage here. And we have a little bit of engagement. I'm not sure who's going to come out on top from this one. Looks like Randy's got a lot more staying power here with these thugs and blitzes. So, love how these arcing shots, they kind of turn themselves up and fire these over, arcing them over the battlefield. Definitely not a point-to-point shot from these thugs. Unlike their incisor counterpart, we can see these lasers fire in a straight line towards their opponent. See, another construction vehicle goes down, and Mitvit has moved his commander up to the front line here, so... And this battle seems to be swinging in Mitvit's favor. We have a lot more medium tanks going up against these thugs here, and Randy, you need to pull your units back. He's going to step forward with his commander, try and get some D-guns off. We see one goes off, here goes another one. Stepping forward without the commander, you really need to protect that unit here. 11 minutes into the game, it can be very vulnerable this far along. See a cheeky little light laser tower going up against an armed metal extractor. Not really sure how that unit interaction works, which one wins that battle, but Randy moved into some stouts of his own, so he's going to be shaving off some LLTs and metal extractors here in the middle of the map. Great damage so far, attacking this turret wall from its weak point. But is that costing him this position in the middle of the map? Looks like Mitvit is trying to get up some beamer turrets here. These like heavy Tech 1 defensive structures here, and that's going to give him control of this reclaim field. These beamers outrange their LLT counterparts, and this is a nice trade here from Mitvit, shaving off an LLT, getting up a couple mexes, still trading with those thugs, and Randy's got a cheeky grave robber here, trying to get this reclaim as fast as he can. So you can see he's a little bit mass starved. Take a look at the statistics for now. Looks like Mitvit's got a little bit of an advantage here. He's got a 3k mass advantage over his opponent, and I'm not quite sure if that's from having more control of the map or from having control of this reclaim field for some time, but that's going to let him get these beamer turrets up. I really like this forward construction turret. That is fantastic to see. You can use this unit to repair these frontline units. You can use it to reclaim. This is, of course, assist these, beamer turrets that are coming up, and one of those grave robbers ends up going down. So take a look at this map. Looks like Mitvit's able to regain control of the center. He could be coming back and recapping these mexes here in the center, and is continuing to trade tanks versus tanks with his opponent. That's going to cause Randy to pull his units down off of this front line. He's trying to get this triad up, or warden, excuse me, this heavy laser turret. It's got 620 range compared to this beamer. Let's take a look, 480, so it definitely outranges that beamer turret. Let's see if it's in range. Yeah, just outside this attack radius, so Randy really diligent about placing that unit, but looks like Mitvit already has a warden up, Overwatch up as his own. So that's going to start, is that really doing damage? I'm not sure, like it's shooting, but it doesn't look like it's actually doing damage. So the game's slowing down just a little bit. We see a run by here in the bottom right side of the map. 6 tanks, killing 1 mech. Looks like that's going to cause Randy to peel off 6 of his own tanks and head down to this bottom right corner of the map. Sure, Mitvit might end up retreating when he sees himself greeted with his own tanks, but we'll see. And these armed metal extractors, really cool. I need to start using these. I keep forgetting those are a thing. I need to start building those on these really far out expansions. And Mitvit's trying to continue this turret crawl here. You can see he's going to end up losing this construction vehicle to the heavy laser turret of Randy. And trades going on both sides of the map. There's a nice little reclaim field here in the bottom right corner. I'd like to see Randy move some grave robbers down there, get those rezzed up, resurrect this exploiter here, and re-secure that bottom right side of the map. You see, Mitvit's not done with this attack here. He's moving forward. He's incorporated ticks into his army, so not sure his impetus behind that, but it's got, you know, stouts and ticks here. It's a pretty decent unit composition, T1 unit composition. And that's going to force Randy to greet him in here in the middle of the map. He can't let these units run by towards his main base. That can be so hard to deal with. These T1 units do not have the DPS to take out these tanks quickly in a straight up battle here. So we see both lines exchanging fire. There's some construction vehicles in the back trying to get some repair off on Randy's units. That's pretty cool to see. Really taking advantage of the game mechanics to get as much as an advantage as he can. Game's kind of slowing down a little bit, so let's take a look at the statistics card again. We see Randy is down by about 5k mass right now, so Mitvit definitely has an advantage here in the game if it continues. He's just going to kind of snowballing this advantage here. He's got a decent Tech 1 army here in the middle of the map, quite the diverse unit composition. He's got pawns, ticks, rovers, blitzes, and stouts here. Just going up against the thug stout army of Randy, or Brood, excuse me. So we have an aggravator, plasma artillery coming up. So taking these pot shots, using its superior range against this entrenched position. It's going to take a long time for this to clear out the static defense of Mitvit though. So just going to be taking some pot shots for now. I'm wondering if this construction turret can actually out-heal the DPS of this artillery installation. And that's going to trigger a Mitvit to attack this little forward main base here. He does not like having his units shelled from afar. And is he going to be targeting this artillery installation? It ends up going down, so nice job diving in, picking off the valuable target from Randy. And he just scoots back out, so is he going to continue this trade though? He's circling around, he's going to end up going for this warden again, so he's going to target that down. Not before losing a lot of tanks though. Losing so many tanks. This is quite the reclaim field you're leaving right at your opponent's doorstep. And Randy's adding a construction turret here, so that's going to give him the build power he needs to reclaim all this wreckage that's just been left at his doorstep. We can take a look. 4,800, nearly 5,000 metal sitting here on the ground in front of Randy's forward expansion. And he still has a lot of tanks left over to secure this. I mean, where is the standing army for Mitvit? Looks like he's finally moved into some two-factor production. He's got a lot of construction turrets here in the main base. You can see units streaming out of the main base, heading towards the middle of the map. Randy's trying to counterattack here. I'm not sure if this is the best idea. He needs to be controlling this reclaim field. He's giving his opponent a free opportunity to use his commander to reclaim all this metal. He has a cheeky forward metal extractor here, right underneath the doorstep of Randy, and I'm sure if he knew this was going on, he would not be happy about the situation. I mean, he sees the radar signatures, but he's so focused on the southern battle, I'm sure. Take a look at his player camera for a second. Yeah, he's sitting here trying to micro these units in the center. Doesn't quite realize what's going on in his front doorstep here. Just trying to re-secure another warden tower. And finally decides to move towards that reclaim field with his commander. Take a look at Mitvit's point of view. Plays straight top down. That's interesting to see. So, interesting angle here. I don't see a lot of players utilizing that view. Definitely here as a caster, you kind of want to get this nice little angle view, and we have some commander versus commander action here. So this is a great little exchange. These commanders have equal range from each other. So if you can, and equal movement speed, so if you have a little bit of a unit advantage against the commander, you can definitely take the game. You know, you just have to get in range of the enemy commander and stay with him as he tries to kind of retreat back. It's a great way to snipe an enemy commander and win the game. Not going to see it here. Both commanders end up retreating from one another. Trying to get back to that little angled view for y'all. We have this short range jamming device from Randy here. Let's take a look and see how that affects Mitvit's player view. I mean, he has a radar coverage here, but really can't see these signatures. You can't even see the signature of this warden firing. So great job, Randy, using this counter intelligence device. I'm not really sure what you'd call that. using it to a full advantage here. Jamming device, a Castro. Wonder if that's a Cuban reference. So, I'm not sure where this game is at. I mean, Randy had control of that reclaim field, but it looks like so much of it ended up going to Mitvit, and he's moved on to 3 factory production here. So, adding a second land factory, he's adding on these artillery. He's got a plasma artillery up of his own. And if he holds his position long enough, he should be able to push Randy off of this entrenched position, and we see just that is happening. He's moved out of that position with his commander. He's sensing the danger here, and we see another Tech 1 army should be about to happen. Look how diverse this unit composition is. We have pawns, ticks, blitzes, Janus, and medium tanks. So really just posturing against each other. The calm before the storm. I'm wondering when Mitvit's going to actually decide to push, and there he goes. He's triggered his attack here. Moving in. See so much fire going down. He's pushing forward. He's going to try and take out this commander snipe. Randy desperately trying to back away. Gets a D-gun off, takes out tanks, takes out another group of 3 tanks there with another D-gun. That was a great trade. How low is he going to go? Oh my goodness. Dodges that Janus shot at the last second there with his commander. Nice cloak. Great game sense. I'm wondering if that would have killed him there. He was down below 20% health, I'm sure. Got some weird flickering going on. I'm not really sure what that's about. And most of Randy's army is completely gone. I mean, he's got tanks just trickling out of his factory for now. He's gone ahead and moved into an air factory. He's trying to get some shurikens out to turn this battle around for him. You don't see any anti-air so far, but Mitvit somehow having the game sense to add on these anti-air bats. I'm wondering if he saw a air scout or something like that. Perhaps he thought that's the only way Randy could win this game is by a quick air switch. And Randy stepping forward. He needs to get this mass into his economy or deny it from his opponent. We see he's stalling on mass right now. Mitvit already on that reclaim field with the construction vehicle. Wonder if Randy's going to continue making these shurikens now that his opponent already has some anti-air of his own mixed into his army. See some shurikens heading to the top side of the map, trying to slow down this advance of these medium tanks, and 4 of these artillery in the center here are going to be making short work of any kind of static defense Randy decides to put up. Don't think this game is going to go on for much longer. Randy on the ropes here. Mitvit's got so much of the map already. He's got control of a reclaim field almost. Has a huge standing army. Look at all these units rolling forward. He's going to be pressing his attack against the enemy commander shortly enough. And Randy's retreating with his commander. He knows the danger he's in. He can't take on this many Tech 1 units. He's going to try and get his commander out with an air transport, but not before going down. Wow. What a game. Great job, Mitvit, taking a game off Randy. I'm sure that's a difficult thing to do. He's an excellent opponent. So, thanks for everyone for watching. I hope you liked another Barcast Daily. If you would like to see more of these games, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next cast. Thanks for watching.